Okay, so we've been covering Sony's lineup for 2021 now going forward, and we're not really sure what comes after Returnal. Returnal is out in March, but leading up to the announcement of the PS5 and then after that, we were told that there would be several big third-party announcements that Sony would work to lock up, and one of them ended up being Final Fantasy 16. So it does look like Sony is throwing some money around just to make sure they have stuff locked up and giving you reasons to buy the PlayStation 5. But one company keeps coming up for Sony to work with, and I'm starting to hear more things about this. So I have to go over. I had to bring Nate on for this because I have to give him some props on one of them, because you've been talking about this, Nate, for a little while now, and you keep getting laughed at and made fun of on the podcast.
Yes, people continue to laugh at me every time I bring up the return of Silent Hill when it comes to PlayStation 5, or is at least announced for PlayStation 5 in the calendar year of 2021. And I feel a redemption is on its way.
Okay, so that's what we're gonna talk about some of that here today, because it does appear that there might actually be a future where Konami is somewhat back in games. So that's what we're going to go over here today, with Sony making what I think will be one of their biggest announcements, even of the generation, because there's more beyond just one game, I would say, from Konami that's very possible here. So guys, if you enjoyed the video, make sure you like it down below and subscribe if you're new to the Spawn Wave Plus channel, and make sure you check out Nate the Hate. His link is down below to his channel. If you're someone who enjoys some of the long form discussions on different topics in games, Nate, you do at least one a week, right?
Yeah, at least one a week. MVG and myself do, the long form discussions once, twice a week. We look at a hot topic going on for the week or the month, or we just look for industry related topics where we will bring on a guest, be it a game developer who's involved in publishing, and we'll talk about a variety of different subjects and inform the listener on how the industry and everything actually works.
Yes. So I wanted to bring this up for Konami again, because it started to make the rounds once again the other day that Konami and Sony might be working together in the background. But you have been beating the Silent Hill drum for what feels like, I mean, it feels like it's been at least half a year, maybe longer than that. It's been a while.
It's been a while.
Yeah, because at this point, what happens with these announcements is, you might hear from places or in the background of rumblings that something like a Silent Hill could get revived, and Konami all of a sudden is like, you know what, we'll just start licensing these properties out. So once you start, that picture becomes more and more clear. A lot of people will then look to see if they can figure out when it will happen. So you look to things like the Game Awards. Like, that would make sense to me to announce something like Silent Hill, because we had Perfect Dark. We knew the initiative was doing something with Perfect Dark. We didn't know if it was like just outright Perfect Dark. Turns out it was, but that's why a lot of people were like, you know what, they're probably going to do it there. And they did. So now we've basically been sitting here wondering when Sony is going to announce Silent Hill, because I will say I'm on Nate's side with this now. From what I've been hearing, I think Silent Hill is going to happen in some way with Sony, Konami getting together. People have talked about Kojima. I don't know if Kojima's involved. I don't think he is, actually.
No.
So
No.
I think that part of the rumor goes a little too far, but I think they're going to have we were talking about the Siren team even working on, as that was part of the rumor. So we hear about Konami and Sony working together, and now rumors once again for Metal Gear Solid Remake have popped back up, this time from Catharsis T on Reset Era, claiming that there is a large-scale partnership between Sony and Konami, and that Bluepoint would actually become involved in this, where Sony would buy Bluepoint. I mean, that makes sense, though, right? You figure at this point, I mean, most of us look at Bluepoint and go, that's basically Sony's studio at this point, right? I mean, they just did Demon Souls, awesome game on Demon Souls. Like, they did such a good job on that game.
Yeah, you definitely view Bluepoint as that Sony exclusive studio. They've only released games for the PlayStation over their last several releases, with the Shadow of the Colossus collection, Demon Souls, as you mentioned, Ico. They continue to really focus on PlayStation, and it's a smart acquisition for Sony at this point. You can have all that talent, and you can have this very talented remaster studio. I wouldn't even call them a port studio, because they go above and beyond in their efforts. So if you can have that type of studio under your umbrella, and then you can license a property like Metal Gear Solid from Konami, you have a really strong duo there.
So I feel like Konami, especially after Metal Gear Survive, they realized you know what, we probably shouldn't be touching this franchise as much. Once Kojima left, and that was an ugly breakup anyway, there was a lot of things involved there. Yeah. Basically, now Konami is left with very, I would say, now kind of undervalued IPs. A lot of people forget about Castlevania and even Metal Gear Solid now versus how we treated them back in like the mid 2000s even. Like they were big franchises, and now we see them as slot machines and pachinko machines. So I think a lot of people get excited when they see this rumor of a Metal Gear Solid remake, and this isn't the first time we've heard about it. We also heard, I've seen other YouTubers talk about this. Moore's Law is Dead is one of them, has brought it up consistently alongside of other things that ended up coming true. And now we're hearing about people on Reset Era talking about it here and there. There was that part in Demon's Souls where you hear what sounded like Metal Gear Rex. The more I'm thinking about it now, maybe that was Metal Gear Rex in the background, you know? Maybe it was.
That would be some really clever foreshadowing in terms of marketing to have Metal Gear Rex in Demon's Souls and not announce the project until 2022 or 2023 for PlayStation 5 and have people kind of have a light bulb moment of like, oh, wow. They were already preparing us for this announcement, and we just, well, I guess everyone actually noticed it, so it didn't work that well if everyone kind of caught the reference.
Yeah, and people kind of putting two and two together, right? You're like, okay, this is Bluepoint. They've done the Metal Gear Solid collection before. That was one of their projects they did. And you start to think about some of the remakes we would like. And we were bringing up Metal Gear Solid before Demon's Souls was even shown, like announced. So that was always in people's minds. They're like, wow, wouldn't it be cool to have Metal Gear Solid brought back up to like Unreal Engine 5? Something just as an example. Like that would be crazy. Like, that would look amazing. Yeah. To have that with this technology and the talent at Bluepoint.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's the thing with Metal Gear Solid 1 is that the only remake we've had is on the GameCube with Twin Snakes, and that release hasn't gone anywhere else. We don't have an HD version of Twin Snakes, but we have those HD versions of Metal Gear Solid 2 and Metal Gear Solid 3, and Metal Gear Solid 1 is stuck on the PlayStation 1 in those dated graphics. So if you can bring that up to modern day visuals with gameplay enhancements and quality of life changes, that would be a really exciting release. And everybody who played the original Metal Gear Solid wants to see it updated to like PlayStation 5 visual fidelity, and it would give, you know, the new generation of fans an idea of what made this franchise so special to, you know, us older individuals.
So I feel like Metal Gear Solid would be a while off anyway, because we just had Bluepoint finish Demon's Souls, and let's say they threw that little Easter egg in there. I mean, honestly, they could have thrown that in there as they were starting just like storyboarding and planning around things outside of actually developing the game, and then they're getting started after Demon's Souls, because Bluepoint is kind of open now. Like, they don't have any obvious projects that they're working on that we've heard about. They're still probably just doing more updates to Demon's Souls and all of this, but you would think that now would be the time that Sony would roll in this year, 2021, and buy Bluepoint. So I feel like if two things happen this year, I'm fully on the Metal Gear Solid train. Okay. So if Sony buys Bluepoint, and then in the same year, could be within a couple months, we have Silent Hill announced, and there's this partnership all of a sudden between Konami and Sony. I mean, I feel like everyone's going to be like, well, can we just remake Metal Gear Solid now? Because all the pieces start to line up.
Yeah, those are kind of the two big pieces to this puzzle, is if we do see Bluepoint become acquired by Sony, and then we see Silent Hill get announced for the PlayStation 5, it pretty much validates the rumor that Metal Gear Solid 1 is being remade by Bluepoint, because those are those two big, I guess you would call, stories that these outlets or these rumors have really substantiated at this point. And if you have 2 out of 3, you're going to say, okay, well, then that third one has to be true as well. So potentially by mid-2021, we might have enough foundation to look to the Metal Gear Solid remake and say, this is true too.
Yes, I would say that, because part of the rumor here from Catharsis T is that Bluepoint Games is in talks right now with Sony to be acquired. Apparently that started around the time that Demon's Souls was basically going gold, after they kind of looked over Demon's Souls just to see where everything was. And I mean, if you look at Demon's Souls, is a very well done remake. So I think it is in Sony's best interest to lock up Bluepoint now, because you could see other bigger companies show up and say, well, can you remake one of our older games so we can just resell it? Can we do that? So it kind of reminds me a bit of what we just saw with Nintendo and Next Level. If Bluepoint was being approached by other studios or larger publishers, maybe Sony's like, well, no, we got plans for you guys with Konami now, coming aboard. Let's get them locked up. So
Yeah, that's a really good point. That if I am Sony and I want Bluepoint to handle some projects that I have in planning, I don't want other publishers to notice them or other developers to notice them and say, "Hey, do you guys want to do this project for us?" It's no, I want to secure you because I've been talking with Konami about having this Metal Gear remake, and you're the team we want to handle it. So we're going to acquire you. We want you exclusively under our control. And it would just be a really smart direction for Sony to go because there is a lot of talent at Bluepoint. It's made up of former Retro Studio employees, and we all know the great things they did under Nintendo.
Oh, yes, that's true because that studio is made up, or a good chunk of Bluepoint, we can say, or some of them are made up of talent from which studio, Nate?
Retro Studios.
Retro Studios, yes. So they are quite talented over there, as we've seen. And I think it would be interesting to see Bluepoint become part of Sony just to get that Konami contract all locked up, and we get, a super high quality version of Metal Gear Solid. And who knows? Maybe they go beyond that. Maybe Metal Gear Solid 1 does so well, Konami's like, well, let's do 2, let's do 3, let's get 4. Let's get 4 on something other than the PlayStation 3.
Yes.
Like, you start to move beyond that, and you're like, wow, can we get like a remaster? It doesn't even have to be a full remake, because 4 still looks really good on emulators. So if you take 4 and you just remaster it, I think that alone would be good enough for a lot of people.
Yeah, as long as you got rid of those load times, and we'd have to watch Snake smoke for half an hour, and the loading screen actually come up and say, go make yourself a sandwich, have a drink, relax. When you come back, we might be halfway done. I think a lot of people would love to revisit Metal Gear Solid 4, and I understand a lot of people look at it as the game was loaded with fan service. It was very campy. It's pretty wild in what they actually delivered in that game, with Ocelot doing the whole gun gyrating motion while characters are actually getting shot. And
yeah,
I enjoy Metal Gear Solid 4
I like
for what
4.
it was.
I like 4. I don't know.
I'd love to see it re-released on a more modern platform, because the only way we can play it right now, at least natively, is on a PlayStation 3. And PlayStation 3s, especially if you have a fat PlayStation 3 like me, that's a ticking bomb. Eventually it is going to die.
Yeah, and the controllers have basically turned to dust in some cases. Like those PS3 controllers are not durable at all. So they've and then now they're hard to find because a lot of the ones online are just bootleg PlayStation 3 controllers. So where we are right now is we believe, because I'm on this train with you too, Nate. We believe that Silent Hills, whatever they end up calling it. I think the project name's just Silent Hill right now, or Silent Hills.
Yes, Silent Hill.
So they might have, like, when we were leading up to Perfect Dark being announced, we all knew it was something in the Perfect Dark universe. We just didn't know if it'd be called like Joanna Dark as an example. Nope, they just went with Perfect Dark. So this very well could just be called Silent Hill, and it's just a full reboot of it. Sure. So we're pretty much in the belief that Silent Hill is a thing, and that it very well could be announced this year. All we really need to see, for me anyway, is that Bluepoint gets purchased, and all of a sudden I'm thinking Metal Gear Solid with Bluepoint.
Yeah,
I think
it's really just one of those cases of one of these 3 things has to happen, and if it's Bluepoint gets acquired, then that validates the remaining 2. If Silent Hill gets announced, then I believe everyone would be saying, okay, now we're just waiting for Bluepoint to happen, and then that confirms that Metal Gear Solid is also the project in development at that studio. So we're just waiting for one shoe to drop, and the dam will be unleashed.
We just need Konami to jump in. That's all.
Yep.
Just need Konami. So I'm excited. You know what? I'm excited for Konami to come in with their IPs, but not actually develop with their IPs. I like that idea. Just start handing them out. And I hope they do that with other companies too. They just start signing deals here and there, just like how Disney is doing it with now Star Wars. So if Konami's just like, we have IPs that are worth something, you guys just pay us money and you can do what you want with them within reason. I like that idea. Yeah, I think that's everything here. Guys, let us know what you think about this down in the comments, and make sure you check out Nate at Nate the Hate. The link is down below. And we'll see you guys next time.